Joel Rubin is the president of the Washington Strategy Group and the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for the Obama administration, and joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for coming on this program. Was it inevitable that Turkey would be removed from the F-35 program, given its now involvement with the S-400?
Well, thank you for having me. And yes, it was inevitable, and this is not new information to the Turks. This has been a couple of years coming, and unfortunately now the Turks decided to move forward with their purchase of the S-400, and it really put the Trump administration in a bind. Now, what we saw was President Trump trying to figure out a way to maintain cordial relations with President Erdogan and to show a bit of understanding about the predicament for Turkey. But that said, the law is clear and the defense community is clear as well in its concerns about allowing the F-35 to go to a nation who's also purchasing sensitive Russian military technology.
But kicking them out of the program isn't going to be so simple. Turkey helped fund the development of the F-35 program as part of the supply chain. Can you explain what's going to be involved in extricating them from this?
Sure. No, this is not going to be simple. It's very unfortunate, and I need to emphasize as well that Turkey is a NATO ally, a very significant one, and an important partner of the United States. So this is not a simple situation. Unwinding the program, it may take until the middle of next year for the supply chain to be moved to other locations. The Pentagon will have to find other purchasers for the F-35s. The pilots, the training, they have already been essentially kicked out of the program. So there are a lot of angles to this, and it will create tensions with the Turkish military at a time when we don't need more tensions with allied militaries in the Middle East. But again, this is a situation where it just was seen by the Pentagon and the White House as well as too risky to allow the F-35 program to go to Turkey at this time. And essentially, they chose the F-35 program over the relationship with Turkey's military at this moment.
You mentioned NATO, and once again, there's another quandary. Turkey has been a longtime ally of NATO. Its military exercises, there's been very little said about how Turkey is going to continue taking part in NATO's strategy. How do you think that's going to work now?
Right. I mean, this could boomerang in a lot of negative ways, potentially, for NATO. And it's been a concern of Washington that there are downside risks to this sale being collapsing. And for example, Turkey supporting in continuing fight against the Islamic State, dealing though with the Kurds in Syria. And what will Turkey do? Will Turkey take a more aggressive role? How will Turkey be training and partnering in interoperability activities related to other hotspots in the region? We need to have a calm, professional relationship with the Turkish military, and we have had one for decades. But again, this is not a surprise. This is not something that came out of left field. I think the president in his rhetoric is making it clear that he doesn't want to go too far. There's still more that can be done as well. It's worth mentioning that there are sanctions that the Congress put forward if Turkey were to go forward with this. And it's up now to President Trump to decide what sanctions to impose or if he will impose any sanctions. But the political space on Capitol Hill is very narrow. There's not a lot of support for Turkey on Capitol Hill in this instance, in this fight.
Thank you very much, Joel Rubin from the Washington Strategy Group. Good to have you on the program.